Many of my friends have seen scores of Indians posting selfies showing their index fingers and wondered what that was all about. Well, Indians are voting in the world's largest democratic exercise, and they are proudly showing that they have voted with the indelible ink on their index fingers. Namaste. My name is Avatans Kumar, and I will provide a quick primer on democracy and elections in India. Indian elections have often been called a festival of democracy. They're loud, chaotic, varied, and vibrant, with a fair amount of fun and gaiety. If India is, to paraphrase Judy Dench's character in the film Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, an onslaught on the senses, Indian elections are the prime example of that onslaught. Unsurprisingly, they draw considerable attention across the globe. Indian elections also create great excitement within the Indian diaspora worldwide. Like any diaspora group, most Indians' personal and collective identity conflation is closely linked to the shared sense of vulnerabilities and excitement concerning India's political, social, and economic well being. India is the largest democracy in the world, with over 900 eligible voters. To put this into perspective, the number of eligible voters in India is three times the size of US population. In over 1 million polling stations, these voters are exercising their franchise using 1.7 million electronic voting machines. Paper ballots are not used for in-person voting. The country is divided into 543 electoral districts with over 8,000 candidates in the fray. India holds its national elections every 5 years as mandated by the Constitution. The only time India did not hold elections within that stipulated period was when Prime Minister Indira Gandhi of the Indian National Congress imposed the national emergency. Over 600 political parties participate in elections. Most of these outfits operate as political pressure groups affiliated with religion, region, linguistic, and jati, that is, caste identities. Even Maoists, Marxists, and Leninist communists have their political outfits. However, currently only the Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP, and the Indian National Congress, the INC, have a pan-Indian footprint. India's election rules mandate the presence of a polling booth within 2 kilometers, that is 1.2 miles, of every dwelling. This means that the solitary resident of Gir National Park in Gujarat must get his or her personal polling booth. Election Commission of India, an independent constitutional body, runs the entire election process. The commission presses 11 million poll workers into service for elections. For logistical purposes, to move the equipment and human resources, including security forces, around, India holds national elections in a rolling phase-wise manner that stretches over several weeks, about 8 to 10 weeks. However, all polling in the stipulated area is conducted in one day. There is no multiple day voting, and mail-in ballots are rare. The commission issues ID cards to all its voters, and it is required to present when voting. Election results are declared within a matter of few hours. The concept of democracy involves people's participation in their own governance. It is broadly actualized in terms of freedom and civil liberties. Free and fair elections, freedom of expression, etc., are defining elements of democracy. In most cases, when one defines the abstract notion of democracy, one thinks about those concrete democratic outcomes. However, democracy is a concept that has a variety of potential meanings, and it is not simple to grasp or define even in advanced industrial democracies. For example, many fail to recognize the difference between a majoritarian democracy of India and the republican democracy of the US. Similarly, the parliamentary form of democracy operates quite differently than the presidential one. To many democracies, real meaning is in its deliverables. For some, democracy may mean Ram Raj, a righteous state based on the ideals of Maryada Purushottam Bhagwan Ram, who is likened to King David in the Hebrew scriptures. It may also mean getting electricity from the government to someone's village and house. For some others, it may mean getting access to a bank account, the right to pursue one's faith, or the right to bear arms. Yet, for some others, it may simply mean having a toilet in the house, relatively inexpensive food prices, or a job in the government. Democracy isn't a uniquely Western concept, nor was the idea of universal adult suffrage, freedom of expression, etc., always part of our understanding of democracy. Many of the tenets of democracy we take for granted in the West aren't even century old, or even a century old. For example, women's right to vote in the US was established in 1920 by ratifying the 19th Amendment of the US Constitution. Mindful of its implications, it is not an exaggeration to state that India, at its core, is a civilizational democratic society. Even though the picture of India presented in academic works and popular history is predominantly a monarchical one, it has layers of self rule, the kind of cooperative self government identified in the West with the Greek republicanism. Though the Vedas providing a glimpse, words such as Shabda, Samiti, Parishad, Sabhapati, etc., of self governance, more concrete evidence is available from the time of Gautama the Buddha in the 600s BCE. Several sovereign republics operated in India during Alexander of Macedonia's invasion. Greek accounts such as Arrian's Anabasis of Alexander, which details the Macedonian conqueror's war campaign, mentions chroniclers' eyewitness accounts of Alexander meeting with free and independent Indian communities at almost every corner. Noted Sanskrit grammarian Panini's Ashtadhyay presents complex vocabularies such as Gana and Sangha that describe the self-governing groups. The Uthiramerur temple inscription in Tamil Nadu has one of the earliest, that is 7th to 9th century Common Era, description of some of the essential elements of a democratic process, such as conducting an election. Indian democracy is uniquely Indian and thriving. Those who view democracy from a Western filter get tangled in anachronistic, one-sided fits-all supremacism. Indian culture, owing to its dharmic roots, is naturally compatible with democracy. India is the land of one truth, many names, ekam sat viprabhata vadanti. Pluralism as the core of democracy is inherent in Indic culture. According to Sri Aurobindo, dharma is the basis of democracy which Asia must recognize. For in this lies the distinction between the soul of Asia and the soul of Europe. Through dharma, he proclaimed the Asiatic solution. Asiatic society fulfills itself in her is her sorry. Through dharma, he proclaimed the Asiatic evolution fulfills itself. This is her secret. Dharmic democracy promotes tolerance and mutual respect for others' ideas and opinions. It is dharma of every human being to be truly free. Sri Aurobindo considers Swaraj self-governance, that is, freedom of mind, body, and spirit. He knew the inherent tension between European rights and duties-based democracy. According to him, a dharma-based system lacks this artificial antagonism. I hope this helps. Thank you.